today we are going to be talking about the historical most important reason why you would want to go ahead and perform the Abramelin, the letter squares in book 3 or 4, depending on your interpretation. I am Dave the Amateur Magus. On this channel I talk all about the mechanics behind ceremonial magic, occultism, esotericism, and the mechanic behind everything you can find within a dusty old grimoire. If you enjoy what I do here and you want to support the channel, link in the description of the Patreon where you can support me over there and get exclusive access to videos early, exclusive videos, and the Occultic Manual series, which is a monthly write-up that I aim at being more advanced than what I have here on the channel, less advanced than what you would find in a dusty old grimoire that I like to talk about on the channel. If any of that sounds of interest to you, link in the description to the Patreon, and if you're already supporting me on Patreon, you have my thanks for your continued and ongoing support. So I have a Patreon exclusive about the Abramelin squares already, which is kind of, this video is a public addendum to that video. You don't need to watch that one in order to understand this video, though, so don't worry about it. This video is just that video is just going to flesh out what some of the, mechanical things about the letter squares are. So, I want to talk about the letter squares because the letter squares historically were the actual reason why you would want to go ahead and perform the Abramelin ritual, because it was not about getting your holy guardian angel, it was about getting power over the demons to effectively make it so you could do whatever you wanted. I mean, just reading out of the Den version, how you can discover all past and future things that are not directly against God's will. Effectively meaning how to know what the winning lottery numbers are, and how to know everything that is going to happen, and all the things about wars. There is ones for explicit things, right? Like, there is how to tell when there's going to be a snow and miracles, and how to foretell when there's going to be bad things happening, and how to find out about forgotten things. And that's all in Chapter 1. So this was the real reason why magicians would go out and they would try to perform the Abramelin. This was, according to some people, the reason why Crowley tried to get out and do this. Crowley was trying to do it so that he could gain power over the letter squares, because for those of you who don't know, you can't actually use the letter squares of the Abramelin without having done the Abramelin. It is an initiatory system that you do the entire ritual, then God sends you your holy guardian angel. The holy guardian angel is the best tutor you personally, and then you get the access to the letter squares, which are various different magical talismans that you have demons swear over, and then they enable you to do various different things, and that's all nice, fine, well, and dandy. All of the letter squares in the Abramelin are done by one of the various dukes, usually in unison with another one. So usually it won't be, oh, this is all spirits that are under the demon Paimon, for example, because the 4 demonic kings that you get to swear fealty to you in the Abramelin are Lucifer, Satan, Leviathan, and Belial. And none of them have demons that are actually invoked in the letter squares, because those are the rulers of the 8 dukes, who are Astaroth, Magoth, Asmodeus, Beelzebub, Arians, Paimon, Araton, and Amamon, who actually do have demons that work the letter squares, because it is said that the kings are too high, the dukes are too high, and you are only really supposed to be bothering either of those two if something major is going on, like one of the letter squares isn't actually working right. But for the most part, you're not actually going to go to the spirits unless you're calling them up for a pure goetic operation. That is the Lesser Key of Solomon version of the Goetia, not to be confused with what we're doing here. Then you would be going through and you would mostly be working with the letter squares, or be employing the lower spirits who are assigned to those letter squares, because the letter squares themselves conjure up various different spirits. Or at least they call up the spirit that swore to make the effect that the letter square is for. The way that the letter squares work is you call up the various spirits that are assigned under the various different demonic lords, and you have them swear on the letter squares, and then you have them, you keep the letter squares safe, and then whenever you want to do one of the effects, you grab that letter square and follow the instructions in the book. Different chapters have different instructions for the different letter squares. Now, it is worth noting that a majority of these don't even need to be done using the spirits that you would have call up, because a lot of these can have the effects done by the familiar spirits that you are given at the end of the Abramelin by Oriens, Paimon, Araton, and Amamon. It is outright written in the book that the demonic familiars can do a lot of what these different letter squares can do. Now, usually you're going to be taking the letter square into your hand and having a small conversation with the demons who are able to solve the problem. They're just kind of going to whisper in your ear, like, we can do it in this time frame, we can work this out, and it's kind of like an agreement, in my experience. But there is one thing that I want to mention that is kind of interesting and kind of not exactly well specified, and that is you have the ability to generate new non-grimoire, kind of personalized, in all honesty, letter squares from this system. So if you do a purification, it's a lot less intense than the full Abramelin, but it is a purification. You can do a method for getting the letter square. You call up the different spirits, and you have them show up, and you have them go ahead and have all of the spirits give you the method for a new letter square. And then in the morning, you write down that letter square, and that letter square, after you have the spirits sign off and consecrate that, will do what you want it to do. Now, usually you're going to want to call upon your Holy Guardian Angel to get this to work out right, because your Holy Guardian Angel, whenever you're dealing with demons, is going to assist you in navigating those conversations, which is the entire point of getting the Holy Guardian Angel. This is why you need to have... This is one of the reasons, I should say. One of the reasons why you need to get the Holy Guardian Angel is because it gives you the authority over the demons, so the demons respect you because they know that all of the angels in heaven are going to beat them if they don't do what you tell them to. And the other reason is because the Holy Guardian Angel is actually there to assist you in navigating dealing with the demons in order to make all of your wildest dreams come true, so to speak. One of the goals I had this year was to actually experiment with some of the letter squares, and specifically to experiment with letter squares and see just how effective they were. So I went through, created a new letter square, called up the spirits, had them consecrate it, and then I tried it out. And to my surprise, honestly, the letter squares were significantly more and less effective than I was expecting. I was not expecting them to be as effective as they were, but the limitations on them were kind of confusing. So you can't just use one of the letter squares, have it manifest instantly, that I've noticed. You have to go through and you have to set a reasonable time frame for this in order to happen. However, for the most part, when the letter squares work, they work incredibly well. They work bizarrely well, in fact. So it's a case of when you go through, there's a chapter at the end where it is getting the demons to put on a show for you, and you can get these to, you can call up the demonic spirits, you can get this letter square consecrated, and you can have them perform a show, and you can schedule the show, and through a series of events, you'll end up going to a show, right? And the show will be probably one of the most interesting shows you've ever seen, with a band you probably have never heard of, or if you have seen the band before and you're going to a band you have seen, they're just more interesting than normal. That is the kind of weird results I've seen. But you can't just be like, yeah, I want to go to a show like right now, entertain me. Because if you do that, what I've seen is that demons are crafty. Demons want to fulfill your goals to the letter, not the spirit. So if you are doing this and you are doing the Abramelin letter squares, you might have it so that you end up going through and you end up like, oh, I want to go see a show. And then it's like, cool. And then somebody sends you a video of a new band playing and jamming out, and it's a new music video that technically fulfills the request that you were desiring. That's kind of the bizarre things that I've seen with the Abramelin squares. So yeah, I have been Dave the Amateur Magus. This is a topic that I get requested about all the time by people who are interested in the Abramelin. Hope everyone is having a good day. If you're not having a good day, hope your day gets better. Take it easy, take care. I hope to see you next time.